There's one penny that's been quietly slipping through generations, passed from hand to hand, lost in drawers and pocket change, and yet today, it could be worth more than a house. It's not a 1909, yes. It's not a wheat penny. It's something far more deceptive. It's the 1964 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark, and most people have no idea they're holding a fortune disguised as a common coin. Now, before you brush it off as just another old cent, I want you to ask yourself one thing: what if that one coin you forgot in your father's old cigar box is the exact one collectors have been searching decades for? Because behind the humble copper face of Abraham Lincoln lies a mystery the U.S. Mint never intended for the public to solve. And time is running out. You see, 1964 was a year of chaos at the Denver Mint. The nation was transitioning away from silver coins due to rising metal prices, and the mint was under enormous pressure to produce billions of new pennies. But when pressure meets panic, mistakes slip through. And one of those mistakes made a few ordinary-looking 1964 D pennies extraordinarily rare. Some of them were struck with worn-out dies, causing doubled images, especially around the date and Lincoln's profile. Others had off-center strikes or die breaks that created strange, jagged scars across the coin's surface. But there's one variation, known only to a few elite collectors, that changes everything. A small batch of 1964 D Lincoln cents were struck using a misaligned reverse die from an earlier series. That tiny flaw, invisible to the untrained eye, transforms it into a ghost, a coin that technically shouldn't exist. And if you're thinking, I've seen hundreds of those pennies, let me stop you. You probably have. That's what makes it terrifying. Because unless you know the exact markers, the curve of the die break, the slight doubling in the 4, or the misplaced D mint mark tucked almost too close to Lincoln's shoulder, you'd never know you were holding a six-figure mistake. But here's where it gets even more chilling: most coin dealers won't tell you this. Why? Because if you discover the real thing, you don't need them. And if you sell too soon or to the wrong buyer, you could be handing away a $500,000 piece of American history. For 1 cent, imagine the regret of the woman in Tennessee who sold her 1964 D penny at a garage sale for 25 cents, only to learn a week later it was auctioned for over $400,000. That single moment haunted her for life. Now imagine it was your coin. Your chance. Let me pull you deeper. The Denver Mint produced over 3.7 billion pennies in 1964. That makes this story sound impossible. But like a storm hiding a single flash of lightning, the majority hides the miracle. Only a few escaped, the ones with the flaw. The coins that were pulled from the presses just seconds before the error was caught. And today, maybe only a dozen are known to survive in high-grade condition, and the rest, still out there. Forgotten. Hiding in jars, collections, estate boxes. Or sitting quietly in a tray at a pawn shop, waiting for someone with trained eyes and courage to claim the reward. So how do you become that person? First, look for any 1964 penny with a D mint mark, located just beneath the date on the front. Now check that mint mark closely. Is it misaligned? Tilted? Punched over another mark? You might be looking at what's called a repunched mint mark, a telltale sign of a transitional error. Next, examine Lincoln's profile. Use a loupe or magnifying glass. If you see doubling in his jawline, eye, or even the date, especially the 4, you may have stumbled upon a doubled die. Some versions are subtle, but worth thousands. Others are dramatic, and nearly priceless, but the real jackpot is in the reverse. Flip it over. If the words 1 cent or e pluribus unum appear slightly blurry or stretched, or if you see cracks, die chips, or off-center printing, don't walk, run to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, here's a secret most don't know. Some of the most valuable 1964 D-era pennies weren't even discovered by collectors. They were found by ordinary people, retirees, truck drivers, high schoolers, who simply paid attention. That's the real power of this story. This isn't about being lucky. It's about being aware that it's about knowing that buried within America's most overlooked coin is a life-changing opportunity, and the clock is ticking. Every day, more of these coins are lost, melted down, are misidentified. Every year, the few verified examples become harder to pry from collectors' hands. But right now, yes, this very moment, that rare 1964 D penny could still be sitting in your home. So here's what you do next. Go check. Go open that drawer. Look through that coin jar. Ask your grandparents. Search your childhood collection. And if you find a 1964 penny with a D mint mark, don't assume anything. Look deeper. Inspect every detail. Photograph it. Compare it to known errors. And if there's even a flicker of possibility, send it in. Get it authenticated. The cost is nothing compared to the reward, because finally, this coin's current market value is $910,000, and it could still be yours. You've probably checked your pocket change 100 times without thinking twice. But what if, just once, you missed something worth nearly $1 million? That's not an exaggeration. One ordinary-looking penny, dated 1966, with no mint mark, is sending shockwaves through the coin-collecting world. At first glance, it looks like any other Lincoln cent. Nothing fancy. Nothing flashy. Just a copper coin. But what lies beneath the surface is a story so rare, so powerful, and so hidden, it's turning ordinary people into overnight millionaires. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you held a 1966 penny in your hand? Did you even look twice? Because someone just like you did, and what they found has completely changed their life. The truth is, this isn't just any penny. This is the 1966 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And while the world was busy ignoring it, a few sharp-eyed collectors realized they were staring at something extraordinary, something almost no one else noticed. The United States Mint made a bold decision that year. Due to the coin shortage crisis of the 1960s, they stopped placing mint marks on coins altogether. That's right, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, all went silent. The idea was to prevent collectors from hoarding coins by mint location. But what they didn't plan for was what came next, because in the chaos of mass production, some incredibly rare errors slipped through. Imagine this: in 1966, billions of pennies rolled out of the mints. But a few, just a handful, were struck with die anomalies, misaligned designs, and ghost-like doubling effects that even the most advanced coin graders struggle to explain. One such coin, a 1966 Lincoln penny with subtle but critical die misalignment and unmarked mint origin, surfaced in a small-town estate sale. It was hiding in a forgotten cigar box, buried under decades of loose change. The person who discovered it? A retired factory worker. He didn't even know what he had. He was just looking for something to do with his grandkids. When that penny was examined, the experts couldn't believe it. A nearly flawless planchet, missing the mint mark as expected, but also showing ghostly doubling around Lincoln's eye, a die crack along the rim, and slight off-centering, features consistent with rare transitional strikes. That one coin sparked a fire. Coin dealers across the country began frantically searching their back stock. Bidding wars broke out. Private auctions were held behind closed doors. And then it happened. One specimen, authenticated, graded MS-66 with unique doubling, sold for over $900,000 in a private deal between two rival collectors. Pause for a moment. Let that number sink in. Now, you might be thinking, what makes your 1966 penny different? Isn't it just a common coin? That's exactly what the world thought. But here's where the story takes a turn. Most people never check for the fine details. They don't look at the eyes, the rim, the spacing of the date, the faint shifts in engraving that separate a mass-produced coin from a rare error. They don't tilt the coin under the light to see the microscopic anomalies that whisper secrets only a trained eye can catch. Have you ever looked that closely? Have you checked your 1966 pennies for a faint doubling under Lincoln's chin? A subtle die crack near the motto, "In God We Trust"? A ghost-like shadow around the 6 in the date? If not, you could be sitting on a fortune, because here's the kicker: these error coins are not obvious. They weren't made to be noticed. That's why they've gone undetected for decades. That's why they've become some of the most sought-after hidden treasures in American numismatic history. and here's a hard truth: most people who had one already spent it. They gave it to the cashier, dropped it in a vending machine, tossed it into a tip jar, gone. But you're still here. You still have a chance. And that chance could change everything. So here's what you need to do. Right now. Go through your 1966 Lincoln pennies. Look for no mint mark, that's standard for the year, slight doubling in the words Liberty or the date, hairline die cracks near the edge, off-center strikes, even by just a hair, sharp detail in Lincoln's jacket, especially near the collar and tie, and most importantly, high-grade surfaces with minimal wear. If you find one with these traits, don't clean it. Don't try to fix it. Don't even post it online yet. Get it authenticated. Submit it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because one wrong move could cost you everything. Now imagine this: one day, you're digging through an old coin jar. You pull out a 1966 penny that looks just a bit different. You check the details. Your heart starts racing. The doubling is there. The surface is nearly untouched. It's got the traits. You send it in for grading, and then you get the call. The expert tells you what you found. They whisper the words you've been dreaming of: this isn't just a penny. It's a national treasure. And finally, this coin's current market value is $908,000. It's out there. Maybe in your drawer. Maybe in your pocket. Maybe in your past. But this time, don't miss it. There's a penny you've probably touched a dozen times and tossed aside without a second thought. A coin that looks completely ordinary, until you realize one tiny detail could change your entire life. This isn't just any penny. It's the 1970 Lincoln cent with a small D mint mark. And what I'm about to tell you could turn pocket change into a six-figure treasure. What if I told you some collectors have paid the price of a new home just to own this one coin? Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the twist: most Americans who found one never knew what they had. Some spent it. Some lost it. And some sold it for mere pennies, completely unaware that this little copper disc was hiding a secret so rare, it makes coin dealers break into bidding wars. Let me tell you a story. In the early 1970s, the US Mint was operating like a pressure cooker. Vietnam. Inflation. A growing distrust in government. Every piece of currency had to be perfect, no room for error. Yet in the chaos of Denver's minting floor in 1970, something slipped through. Something small, but worth a fortune today. A rare die was used to stamp some of the 1970 D Lincoln pennies, one that wasn't meant for circulation. This die had slight imperfections, doubling in the date, tiny shifts in the lettering, and in some cases, misalignments so subtle, even expert eyes missed them. But those mistakes, they're exactly what makes the coin valuable. Because error coins aren't just rare, they're one-of-a-kind fingerprints of American history. Now here's the chilling part. For years, these rare 1970 D pennies circulated unnoticed. You might have one sitting in a jar right now. One viewer emailed me last year after digging through his late father's coin collection. He thought the coins were junk, until he found a 1970 D penny with what looked like a double date. That coin sold for over $6,500 in a private auction. He paid off medical bills and still had enough left to start a small business, and that wasn't even the highest known price. But let me pause for a second and ask you something: how many coins have you spent without looking at the year? How many times have you ignored a penny just because it looked normal? That's exactly how fortunes are lost. The truth is, the 1970 D Lincoln cent has become a quiet legend in the coin collecting world. Dealers whisper about it. Collectors scan eBay listings late at night hoping to find one. And every year, new discoveries send shockwaves through the community. Some versions of this coin exhibit a double die obverse. The date, 1970, appears to have a shadow or echo if you look closely under magnification. Others were mistakenly struck on a leftover 1969 proof die, which should have never been used for general circulation. Imagine that. A minting error so specific, so unrepeatable, it instantly transforms the coin into a treasure map. But here's the kicker, these coins don't shout their value. They whisper so how do you find one? First, grab a magnifying glass and pull out every 1970 penny you own. Flip them over. Look for the small D mint mark just below Lincoln's shoulder on the front. Then focus on the date, look for doubling. Does the 9 or 7 look slightly thicker? Are there shadow lines beneath the numbers or letters? Also check the coin's surface. Does it feel different? Does it have a smoother proof-like finish even though it wasn't supposed to be a proof coin? These are red flags that your penny might be one of the few that slipped through the cracks, but here's the warning, don't clean it. Don't scratch it. Don't try to polish it to look better. One wrong move and you could slash the value by 90%. Instead, store it safely and get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC before showing it to any dealer, because once it's confirmed, the bidding begins, and when it does, you're no longer holding a penny. You're holding a story. A piece of history. A coin born in the shadows of a chaotic era, lost in circulation, and rediscovered by someone just like you. The dream of sudden wealth isn't just fantasy, it's already happened. And it can happen again. But only for those who pay attention. For those who check. For those who believe that something small can still change everything. Finally, this coin's current market value is $905,000. They thought it was just another penny. They spent it, dropped it, ignored it. But what if I told you that one single coin from 1979, hiding right now in your pocket change, could be worth more than a house? Not because of gold, not because of silver, but because of a silent mistake, one that no one saw coming. A mistake so subtle, most people miss it, even when it's right in front of their eyes. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a penny and felt, nothing? Just 1 cent worthless. Forgettable. But what if that ordinary coin you tossed into the tip jar yesterday was a rare 1979 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, and it was one of the most valuable errors in modern American coinage? What if someone else picked it up, and changed their life forever? You see, in 1979, something unexpected happened at the Philadelphia Mint. It wasn't announced. It wasn't advertised. It was barely documented. But for a short period, a batch of Lincoln cents were struck without a mint mark. Now usually, Philadelphia coins carry no mark, and that's normal. But what makes this coin extraordinary isn't just the lack of a mint mark. It's everything else, because within this year, a small run of coins were struck using a misaligned die, and if your 1979 no-mint penny carries this flaw, with unusually sharp details on Lincoln's bust, a doubled, "In God We Trust," or even a mispunched date, you might be holding the kind of coin that auction houses fight to get their hands on. Let's pause for a second. Have you ever checked your old change jars? The coffee tin in the garage? That plastic bag full of pennies your grandfather passed down? You might think, it's just copper. Just junk. But let me tell you the truth, these coins aren't junk. They are keys. Keys to something most people will never find, freedom. The kind of freedom that comes from discovering a $900,000 coin when the world least expects it. Now imagine this. A retired mechanic in rural Ohio finds a 1979 penny while sweeping out his truck bed. No mint mark. Slight doubling on the motto. He brushes it off, almost spends it, but hesitates. Something feels different. He does a quick search, reaches out to a dealer, and a month later, he's sitting in a bidding war. That penny, that tiny forgotten sliver of copper, sells for over $400,000. 1 cent, turned into a fortune, and here's the real kicker. That wasn't even the highest recorded price. See, there's another layer most collectors don't know. Some of the no-mint 1979 pennies were struck on older bronze planchets, leftover blanks from the pre-1982 composition, but at the wrong thickness or weight. Others show clear signs of die polishing, off-center strikes, and ghost-like doubling under Lincoln's chin and jawline. These aren't just mint quirks, these are the fingerprints of a mint mistake that collectors live to find. Have I got your attention now? because here's what you need to do. Get every 1979 penny you own. Hold it under a strong light. Look closely at the date, especially the 9. Some rare pieces show a small, almost hidden curl under the 9, a sign of a repunched date. Next, check the motto, "In God We Trust." If the letters look slightly shadowed or appear doubled, you might be holding something truly rare. Now turn the coin over. Look at the Lincoln Memorial. Does the right side of the step seem stretched or slightly ghosted? These subtle errors are where the true value lies. Not in the shine. Not in the color. But in the imperfections, and don't just trust your eyes. Weigh it. A genuine copper penny from 1979 should weigh around 3.11 grams. But if you find one that's slightly heavier, or just a bit too light, that anomaly could make all the difference. Dealers have paid 5 figures for coins with nothing more than a 1-gram variation. That I know what you're thinking, could I really have this coin? The answer is, yes. You could. It might be hiding in your junk drawer, your kid's piggy bank, or the old coffee can your father left behind. But if you don't look, you'll never know, and here's the warning, the window is closing. As more collectors flood the market and more people catch on, these coins are being snatched up faster than ever before. Prices are spiking. Dealers are begging for inventory. And those who wait, they lose. They miss out. They end up watching someone else get the life they dreamed of, from the coin they could have found. So before you leave this video, do one thing. Search. Check every penny. Don't just glance, investigate. Look for the 1979 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Study the details. Weigh the coin. Examine the lettering. And if something, anything, feels unusual, don't dismiss it. Get it appraised. Get it protected. Because the next big discovery might not be sitting in a museum, it might be sitting in your house. And finally, the number you've been waiting for. If you find the rare 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a double die obverse, sharp detail, and near-mint condition, this tiny coin, once worth a cent, now carries a staggering market value of $902,000. This is your moment. Don't let it pass. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it might secretly be worth a fortune? Imagine discovering that within your everyday pocket change, the 1981 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark carries a mystery so deep it could redefine your future. Picture a tiny piece of metal hiding a secret treasure, a rarity overlooked by most collectors yet brimming with untold potential. It all began on an ordinary day when I flipped through a box of seemingly common sense, only to have my heart skip a beat at the glint of one penny standing apart from the rest. There it lay, a humble Lincoln penny, yet with an absence that sent shockwaves through my intuition, no mint mark at all. In that electrifying moment, the coin's enigmatic identity whispered of a hidden story, a secret birth from a rare mint era that defied the norm and defied time. I dug deeper into its past and uncovered fragments of history that no one had anticipated. In the early 1980s, mints typically marked their coins with precision, a tiny symbol of authenticity and place. But this coin carried a void where that mark should have been, a rare misprint that countless collectors missed in their rush. Was it merely a manufacturing mishap or a window into a forgotten chapter of numismatic lore? Each unanswered question fueled a suspense so palpable you could almost hear the gears of time clicking into place as if the coin were a time machine itself. As the story unfolded, I discovered the dramatic tension behind why this seemingly simple coin commanded such reverence. Behind every mint error lies a labyrinth of process, human error, and an infallible twist of fate that turns an ordinary piece of currency into an object of desire. The absence of the mint mark was not just a quirk, it was a rare symbol of rarity, a golden ticket to a secret treasure chest that whispered promises of hidden fortunes waiting to be unearthed. Can you imagine the adrenaline surge when that realization hit? One moment you're counting pennies, and the next, you feel as if fate itself has placed a key in your palm, a key to unlocking a future of wealth and freedom. I realized then that this coin was not just a misprint, but a covert message from the past urging collectors to seize the moment before history passed them by. Every day, around the country, diligent and hopeful individuals rummage through their change, dreaming of stumbling upon their own moment of serendipity. The coin's backstory weaves together threads of national heritage, manufacturing anomalies, and the timeless allure of rare collectibles, creating an irresistible tapestry of suspense and hope. It's as if the spirit of Abraham Lincoln himself is calling out through this misplaced penny, urging us to look beyond the mundane and seek extraordinary potential in every small detail of life. Now, let me share a secret that few dare to whisper. Over decades, as numismatists meticulously scoured their collections, this misprinted penny slowly built a reputation among the few who truly understood its value. Rumors swirled in quiet corners of collectors' circles and at exclusive auctions, each whisper carrying a mix of awe and urgency. You might be sitting on a treasure without even knowing it. Think about it, a single coin, overlooked for decades, could transform your financial destiny. As I delved into auction records and expert testimonies, the numbers grew more staggering, the stakes even higher. I discovered that while many coins have faded into obscurity, the 1981 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a phoenix rising from the ashes, a beacon for those who dare to dream of sudden wealth amid everyday transactions. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you truly examined the coins in your pocket? This isn't just a story about money, it's a call to awaken the treasure hunter in you. Imagine the thrill of discovering that a coin you've long ignored might be the key to a wealthier, freer life. There's a palpable fear of missing out that runs through every story of rare collectibles, a fear that every overlooked detail might be your lifelong opportunity slipping through your fingers. Now, let's break down exactly how you can identify this extraordinary coin. First, when handling your pennies, look for the absence of any mint mark, a detail that most coins do not share. Check the edges and surfaces carefully, because this error is almost invisible to the untrained eye. It's vital to use a magnifying glass, even the smallest speck or misprint could indicate that you found a rarity. Next, compare your coin with standard examples of 1981 pennies. Authenticity is key, and you must be cautious not to fall victim to mistakes. Avoid trying to sell or trade on impulse until you have its full history verified by a recognized expert. Consider this a treasure map pointing you to a potential fortune hidden in plain sight. The proper authentication of a coin like this is an art, a harmonious blend of historical scholarship and the keen eye of a seasoned collector. Remember, haste can lead to missed opportunities or costly mistakes. It's essential to research, to consult reputable sources, and to join communities that share your passion for uncovering the truth behind such rare finds. That if you think about the transformative power of this discovery, it becomes clear why this penny is more than just metal. It is a symbol of hope, a promise that fortune favors the bold and attentive. In every scratch, every glint of light, there is a story of human endeavor, a reminder that even the smallest details can hold worlds of worth. Every collector, every dreamer who has ever turned a penny over in their hand deserves to experience the thrill of possibly holding history. So today, I urge you to take a moment and inspect your own collection. Look closely, think deeply, and wonder if fate might have already touched your pocket change. In this journey, every coin is a narrative waiting to be told, every misprint a secret waiting to be revealed. Do not delay, the opportunity to unearth a hidden legacy is here and now, urging you to act. Finally, this coin's current market value is $899,000. Just a single, dirty penny, lying inside a cracked old jewelry box at a yard sale in rural Pennsylvania. The seller barely looked twice, just laughed and said, "It's not even worth the copper." But the man who picked it up, he noticed something most people miss. No mint mark. 1984, Lincoln's worn face staring back through time like a quiet whisper from history. What he didn't know, what most people still don't know, is that this tiny coin could be worth more than a brand new Mercedes, more than a year's salary. And here's the question no one seems to ask: why would a common-looking penny from 1984, with no mint mark, explode in value and leave collectors scrambling to find just one? The truth starts decades ago, in a minting room filled with heat, haste, and human error. 1984 was supposed to be a quiet year for pennies. Nothing dramatic. No major design changes. No official announcements. Just business as usual. But something happened inside the Philadelphia Mint. A subtle mechanical flaw, a small, almost invisible mistake that changed everything. A batch of Lincoln cents was struck without a mint mark, as expected for Philadelphia. But what makes this specific coin so mysterious isn't just the missing letter. It's what else is missing, or rather, what's wrong. Some of these 1984 pennies carry what experts call a double-ear variety, a rare form of doubling so precise and so hauntingly clear, it looks like Lincoln grew a second earlobe. That's not a joke. It's a real, documented error, one of the most dramatic double dies of the 1980s. And the kicker. Most people don't even realize they've seen it. This error doesn't flash like silver. It doesn't shine like gold. It hides. And unless you know exactly where to look, you'll miss it every time. That's why people are still spending these coins in gas stations, dropping them into vending machines, losing them forever. Think about that for a second. A coin that could be worth hundreds of thousands, disappearing because no one stopped to look closely enough. Now here's where things get even more chilling. Because unlike most high-value coins, which are protected in museum cases or private collections, these 1984 no-mint mark errors are still circulating. Still sitting in drawers, coin jars, old childhood albums, waiting to be discovered. One man in Oklahoma found his by accident. He was helping his daughter with a school project, gluing coins to a cardboard timeline of U.S. history. But when he tried to tape down a 1984 penny, the glue wouldn't stick. He flipped it, then froze. The ear, something was off. It didn't match the others. He almost threw it away. Instead, he mailed it to a grading service, thinking it might be worth a few bucks. That same coin later sold at auction, for $22,000. And that wasn't even a mint state specimen. So the question is, how many more are out there, right now, in your pocket, in your old change stash, in that envelope of coins your grandfather gave you? This coin could be hiding in plain sight. And unless you know what to do, you'll miss it like everyone else. Here's how to check. First, make sure the date reads 1984, no other year matters here. Second, turn the coin slightly under a strong light and examine Lincoln's ear. If you see a ghostly second earlobe just beneath the first, sharp, defined, almost like an echo, you're staring at the famous double-ear variety. Third, check for the absence of a mint mark. Philadelphia coins from that era didn't carry one, so that's normal. But only the 1984 Philadelphia strike has this exact doubling. Don't confuse it with smudging or damage. True doubling will have crisp separation, like a shadow, not a smear, and if you find it, don't rush to sell. Many people make the mistake of listing valuable coins on eBay for a fraction of their worth, simply because they don't know the grading scale or how to verify authenticity. Instead, submit it to a trusted grading company like PCGS or NGC. A certified label could increase the price tenfold. Then, and only then, should you consider auctioning it, because while common 1984 pennies are everywhere, this one is not. Only a handful of true double-ear varieties in mint condition have ever surfaced. And collectors are watching. They know what's out there. They're waiting. And every year, as more are lost, the price climbs higher. This isn't just about coins. It's about freedom. Imagine paying off debt from a single penny. Imagine transforming a childhood hobby into a real financial breakthrough. Imagine the story you tell your grandkids, that once, you found treasure, not in a cave, not under a shipwreck, but right there in your kitchen drawer. You don't need a metal detector. You don't need to be rich. You just need to look, closely, carefully, like your future depends on it, because maybe, just maybe, it does. And finally, this coin's current market value is $892,000. Just another penny. Just another year. But what if I told you that one, single, ordinary-looking 1987 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could be the key to a life you never thought possible? Most people would walk right past it. They'd spend it without a second thought. But in the quiet corners of America, in basements, dresser drawers, and forgotten coffee cans, one version of this coin is changing lives. And the scary part. You might have already had it, and let it slip through your hands. In 1987, the U.S. Mint struck millions of pennies, just like every year. But something went wrong, something the public wasn't told. A small batch of coins rolled off the presses, missing a critical detail. the mint mark. Now, normally, a penny without a mint mark is no big deal. Especially if it came from Philadelphia, they often don't carry one. But this wasn't a standard strike, this was a mistake, that a rare, almost mythic error, a transitional phantom born from the chaos of shifting die setups and outdated press configurations. Only a few survived. Most were melted down, discarded, or vanished into circulation unnoticed, but the ones that did survive are worth far more than copper and zinc. Let me ask you something: when's the last time you really looked at a penny, not glanced, not counted, looked? Because this isn't just about coins, it's about second chances, it's about redemption hiding in plain sight, it's about the possibility that your next breath, your next coin, could change your future. The 1987 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is surrounded by mystery. For decades, collectors debated its legitimacy, some called it a fluke, some said it never existed, but then, one turned up, then another, and suddenly, the whispers became reality. These aren't just ordinary coins with faded marks, they were struck using retired Denver dies, repurposed accidentally in the Philadelphia facility. A mechanical error that bypassed all quality control. An invisible ghost slipped through the system, unnoticed by the very people tasked with protecting U.S. currency integrity, and now, the surviving few have become the obsession of elite collectors. Private sales, sealed envelopes, quiet auctions behind closed doors, and every time one surfaces, the price jumps again. One man in Ohio found his in a tackle box, mixed with screws and nails. He thought it was junk, until a local dealer spotted it, verified the strike, and bought it for $27,000 on the spot. Another turned up in a Pennsylvania estate sale, sold in a box labeled, junk drawer contents. That one? It sold for over $110,000 at a heritage auction just 3 months later. Are you starting to feel it now, that itch, that pulse in your fingertips? You should, because this isn't just about history, this is about opportunity, right now. Today. In your hands. But here's the catch: most people won't know what to look for. They'll see the date, 1987. They'll see Lincoln's profile, and they'll shrug. But here's what makes this version different, and dangerous to ignore: flip the coin. Look closely. Is there a mint mark under the date? If so, it's likely from Denver, but if there's no mint mark at all, and the surface, strike pressure, and rim alignment suggest a Denver die, not Philadelphia, you could be holding a silent fortune. Still, many fakes flood the market: sanded down coins, altered mint marks, counterfeit presses. That's why you need to get it professionally authenticated. PCGS. NGC. Annex. A certified expert can change everything, but do not clean the coin. Do not alter it, and do not, I repeat, do not, sell it to just anyone. You only get one shot with this. Now imagine this: you're at a gas station. You get a few cents back, you toss them in the cup holder. Weeks later, you're cleaning your car, and something catches your eye. 1987. No mint mark, perfect edges. Strong strike. You send it in. It comes back verified, and just like that, your life shifts. Mortgage paid, car replaced, retirement funded, and all because you paid attention, when most people never would. Don't let that moment pass you by. Don't assume the ordinary is worthless, because the truth is, this world hides treasures, in the most overlooked places. Finally, this coin's current market value is $874,000. And it's still out there, waiting. So let me ask you something: what if I told you a single 1989 Lincoln penny, with absolutely no mint mark, could be hiding in your home right now, worth more than most Americans make in a decade? Before you dismiss it as impossible, think about this. Millions of coins pass through our hands over the years. But only a few ever whisper secrets, secrets that even most collectors don't hear. And this one? The 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, it's one of those whispers that could roar into a six-figure fortune, if you know exactly what to listen for. It all began in the late 80s, a time of change, tension, and transition at the U.S. Mint. 1989 wasn't just another year for coinage. It was a pivot point. The Denver and San Francisco mints were under immense pressure, and Philadelphia, known for not stamping a mint mark on their coins, was pumping out billions of pennies. But something went wrong. A small batch of 1989 pennies were struck with a flaw so subtle, so easy to overlook, that even trained eyes missed it. These coins had no mint mark. But they weren't from Philadelphia. That's the twist. Some of these were actually intended for Denver or San Francisco, and due to a mechanical oversight, a few were struck without the mint mark altogether. These weren't your average no mint mark Philadelphia pennies. These were errors. Rare. Unexpected. Silent. Now imagine this: you've had one of these coins sitting in your kitchen drawer for years. Maybe it was handed to you as change after a coffee. Maybe it's lying inside an old jar, next to buttons and dead batteries. You could be holding a ghost from the mint, a rare misprint the government never meant to release, and here's where the story gets even more intense. One of these 1989 no-mint mark pennies surfaced at a private estate sale in Oregon. A man had stored it away in an envelope marked, "Odd penny, looks off." He wasn't a collector. He just had an instinct. That coin was later appraised and sent for authentication. The final verdict? A genuine 1989 no-mint mark Denver error penny. One of possibly fewer than a dozen known. Auction value? It broke expectations at $296,000. And here's the punch: experts believe more of these are out there. Undiscovered. Forgotten. Unchecked. Let me stop you right now. Think about your spare change jar. Think about that old roll of pennies your grandfather left you. Are you absolutely sure you haven't seen a 1989 penny lately? Are you sure it had a mint mark? Now, don't confuse this with a regular 1989 Philadelphia penny. You see, a true error version of this coin is almost like finding a fingerprint where there shouldn't be one. It's not just the missing mint mark, it's where it's missing from and how the coin was struck. In many cases, you'll see signs of a misaligned die, weaker edges, or unusual spacing around the Lincoln bust. And sometimes, the coin looks off-center, like something was rushed. Because it was, these details, they matter. And they're worth thousands. But here's the danger: many collectors unknowingly sell these coins for just a penny, literally 1 cent, because they don't recognize the signs. This is the moment where your life could change, or pass by like so many others who missed their shot. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you found that coin today? Pay off your debts? Buy your freedom? Take your family on the trip of a lifetime? This isn't just a coin. It's a second chance disguised as copper. Now, how do you find it? Step 1. Grab every 1989 penny you own. Flip it. Look just below the date. If there's no D, no S, nothing, you may have something. But don't stop there. Examine the strike. Is the face of Lincoln perfectly centered? Are the details sharp or unusually soft? Hold it up to the light. Real errors often have faint double impressions or slight misalignments near the edges, and here's the final tip: never clean the coin. Never polish it. Leave it as is and get it evaluated by a professional grading service. You'd be shocked how many fortunes are lost when people try to make the coin look better. The rougher it looks, the more authentic it might be. Every day, someone throws a small treasure back into the world without realizing it. But not you. Not this time, because now you know what to look for. You know the hidden story behind one of the rarest Lincoln errors of the late 20th century. You know the stakes. You know the value. And finally, this 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, it's not just rare, its current market value is $868,000. What if I told you that a single penny from 1998, with nothing but Abraham Lincoln's face and no mint mark beneath it, has caused seasoned collectors to lose sleep at night? That one unassuming cent, hiding quietly in drawers, pockets, and dusty old jars, could be worth more than a brand new luxury SUV. No one's talking about this coin in the headlines, but behind the scenes, collectors are making silent deals, and the value is climbing fast. And the most shocking part? Most Americans toss it away every single day. Every so often, a coin breaks the rules. It defies expectations, slips past mint inspectors, and enters circulation like a ghost. The 1998 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is one of those rare ghosts, one that whispers a story of oversight, error, and hidden wealth. But what exactly makes this coin different? And how can a missing mint mark, something so small, turn a 1-cent piece into a 5 or even 6-figure treasure? To understand this, we need to go back to the basics. Most 1998 pennies were minted either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Coins from Denver carry a little D. San Francisco proof coins show an S. But Philadelphia coins? Here's the twist: while modern Philly coins now display a P, back in 1998, Lincoln cents from Philly were intentionally left without any mint mark at all. So, does that mean all 1998 coins without a mint mark are valuable? No. And that's the trap. Here's the hidden secret: there are certain 1998 Lincoln pennies with no mint mark that show an unusual die error. You see, in rare cases, a misaligned die or a double die obverse caused Lincoln's image, or specific parts of it, to appear doubled, blurry, or shifted in unnatural ways. These were never meant to leave the U.S. Mint. But somehow, a few did. And now, collectors are scrambling to find them. Imagine this: you're sorting through coins for a garage sale. You pick up a handful of old change, and there it is, a 1998 penny that looks just like all the others. But something feels off. You squint. Lincoln's eye seems thicker. The Liberty inscription seems slightly blurred. You tilt it toward the light, and suddenly, it hits you. Doubling. Clear, unmistakable doubling. Your heart starts racing. You just found it. Pattern interrupts like these, minor visual clues, can mean the difference between a common penny and one that's worth thousands. And yet, people throw these away every day, unaware of the small fortune slipping through their fingers. There's another twist that makes this even more dramatic: some 1998 pennies with no mint mark were struck using proof dies by mistake. Now this is rare, so rare that only a handful are believed to exist. When these proof dies were mistakenly used on regular business strikes, the result was a penny with unusually sharp details and mirror-like fields, but no mint mark. These hybrid errors are like winning the coin lottery. If you have one, you're holding a weapon of mass bidding in the auction world. So, how do you really know if your 1998 penny with no mint mark is the right one? First, grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at Lincoln's eye, mouth, and the date. Do you see slight doubling or shadow-like effects? Next, check Liberty and In God We Trust. Doubling here could be a strong signal. Finally, study the surface. Does it look unusually sharp or detailed, almost too perfect? You might be staring at a proof die error coin, but here's the trap too many fall into: cleaning the coin. Never, ever clean your penny. Even wiping it gently can erase microscopic evidence of the error, and destroy its value. Leave it raw. Let a professional verify it. And when in doubt, submit it to PCGS or NGC for grading, because one verified error can change everything. This isn't just about pennies. It's about hope. About the idea that something as small and forgotten as a coin from the late 90s could be the key to paying off debt, buying a car, or finally taking that dream vacation. These aren't just collectors' fantasies, they're real stories, playing out in silent eBay battles and quiet phone calls between serious dealers. Right now, someone out there has this coin in their pocket. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's in that jar under your bed or that drawer you haven't opened in years. And if you don't check, someone else will. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, after this video, pull out every penny from 1998. Set them aside. Look at them under bright light. Don't rush. The fortune you're looking for doesn't shout, it whispers. And it's waiting, because finally, this coin's current market value is $863,000. But it wasn't. It was a silent key to a forgotten fortune, a 2006 Lincoln penny with the tiniest D mark, and a massive secret. Right now, somewhere in a jar, a dresser, or a dusty wallet, this exact coin could be hiding in plain sight. And most people are spending it without ever knowing. Ask yourself this: would you even notice it? Would you know what to look for? What if I told you this single penny, yes, a 2006 D Lincoln cent, has been known to trigger bidding wars among collectors who understand its secret. And if you've ever handled one, you might already be richer than you think. That in 2006, over 4 billion Lincoln cents were minted. It was just another year, right? Wrong. Because something unusual slipped through the cracks at the Denver Mint. Something rare. A tiny handful of these coins came out flawed, but not broken. They were born different. A rare die clash, a double die, or a misaligned strike. It depends on the coin. But each of these rare survivors holds a fingerprint of history, and serious value. Now imagine this: a man in Kansas walks into a coin shop with a Ziploc bag of old change. The clerk dumps them into a tray. Ordinary stuff, until something catches the light at the wrong angle. A doubling on the date. The Liberty slightly shadowed. The mint mark tilted ever so slightly south. It wasn't just a penny anymore, it was a $10,000 mistake, hiding in a sea of copper. That's the danger, and the thrill. These coins don't announce themselves. There's no golden glow. No sound cue. Just one moment, and everything changes. Because the 2006 D. Lincoln penny isn't rare because of age. It's rare because of neglect. Almost nobody checks this year. Almost nobody cares. Which is exactly why the rare ones are worth more than you'd ever guess. What makes this specific penny valuable isn't the year, it's the error. A tiny misalignment of the die. A ghostly doubling on Lincoln's chin. Sometimes even a broad strike that gives the coin an odd, warped shape. Minting machines weren't perfect in 2006, and in the chaos of production, a few coins slipped through the system carrying rare deformities. And here's the twist: many collectors overlooked these for years. Because 2006 isn't old enough to be interesting. That's what everyone said. Until prices started climbing. Quietly. Then rapidly. And now, the few people who spotted these errors early are sitting on mini jackpots. Let me reset your focus for a moment. Have you ever seen a 2006 D penny where the number 6 looks thicker? Or where the word trust seems fuzzy, like it was stamped twice? These are signs. Real indicators. And if you've ever held one like this, don't spend it. Not yet. Because even minor variations can mean major payouts. One woman in Georgia found one with a very light off-center strike. She didn't think much of it, until a local collector offered her $700, on the spot. That same coin, had it been in mint state condition, could have pulled over $8,000 at auction. She didn't know that. She almost used it for gas money, and that's what makes this so real, so important. It's not about rare treasure buried in caves or locked in museums. This is everyday money. This is the change we toss in our car, the coins our kids play with. The fortune is right here. It always has been. Let me show you exactly what to look for. Start with the mint mark. It should be a crisp, centered D under the year 2006. But in rare valuable versions, that D may be slightly tilted, distorted, or even doubled. Next, check Lincoln's face, especially the chin and jawline. If it looks like there's a faint shadow, or like it was stamped twice, you might be holding a double die. Use a magnifier if you can. These details are microscopic, but life-changing. Also inspect the rim. If it looks unusually thick on one side and thin on the other, you may have a misaligned die strike. And if the coin looks oddly warped, slightly larger, no ridges, or missing part of the design, you could have a broad strike error. These are incredibly rare and command major premiums. Now listen closely: if you find a coin like this, do not clean it. Don't try to polish it. And don't rush to your nearest pawn shop. You need to protect it. Put it in a coin flip, take detailed photos, and get it appraised by a certified grading service. Mistakes made in haste can cost you thousands. The truth is, coins like this change lives quietly. They aren't loud. They don't get headlines. But for those who know what to look for, they are doorways. To debt-free living. To travel. To freedom. You deserve to know this. You deserve the chance to check your own collection and feel that rush of possibility. Because right now, this moment, one small, unassuming 2006 D penny could be sitting inside your home, and you haven't noticed it yet. Finally, this coin's current market value is $855,000. Don't wait. Start looking now.